Hi, I'm Lynn, and I really want to thank you all for being here with us tonight. I'm really excited about Soul Naturals, and it's certainly something that I love sharing. I share it with my friends and neighbors and people just standing randomly around because it's worked so wonderfully for me. I wanted to just let you know just some of my experiences with this. When I was introduced to Soul Naturals, my husband, who has never slept well at all, started taking the Vare Designs, and the first night that he took them, I actually thought that he was dead. I mean, he did not move. He wasn't snoring. And after 17 years of being with him, this was highly unusual. So when I did finally realize he was breathing, I was convinced he had taken at least half the bottle of the Vare Designs I told him to take. When he got up in the morning, he was really feeling wonderful, said that, it was the best night's sleep he had had, and so we have found that the Vare Designs work extremely well for him. He gets good sleep. He's not restless, he doesn't snore, and he's waking up feeling refreshed, which is something that I said, again, has not happened in 17 years. For me, I love all of the products. The Vare Designs helps me sleep, but I have to say that, I learned quickly that the thing that I like to hand out to people to try is the Soul Vital. And I just adore this because I find that for people who have headaches, I was taking a class, a week-long class, and I was noticing people the strain of being in the class. It was all day long. It was an intensive. And I just started handing them packets of Vital out, and so many people were responding, saying how quickly it worked, how well it worked. And I personally don't get many headaches, and I'm a real sissy about that. So yesterday I actually woke up with one, and I tried the Vital, and I have to say that within 15 minutes, I mean, my back was aching, my neck was aching, it was a hormonal headache, it was hideous. And within 15 minutes of drinking my Vital, it was gone, and I felt tremendous. So I love these products. I love sharing them, and I am so completely grateful to have them in my life. With that, co-hosting this with me is Michelle Harville, and I know that she's had some really good experience with this too. So if she's on here and has vocal, I'd like her to share too. Are you on with us, Michelle?
Yeah, I'm on my phone. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Awesome, okay. I don't know what's going on with my computer or why, but I've pushed every button and tried everything, but I'm not sure if it's a new system that was downloaded onto my computer or not. But anyways, my testimonial. Let's see. Yes, I've been taking the products now for about 3 months. I really, really like the way I have been feeling, especially my skin. I've noticed that my skin, once I went through the initial breakout and all the irritation, I guess it was all the toxins coming out of my body, my skin actually hardly ever breaks out. And I think now I attribute it, if it does break out, it's because I ate too much sugar. I ate something bad. But it's not clean, I should say. But yes, I definitely love that. In the Vare Designs, I have to agree with Lynn. They are awesome. I do sleep much better than I did. Definitely better sleep, but I do still wake up during the night, but I think that has to be attributed to my night sweat. But they're not as bad either. So I think that's coming from the Excel, I would imagine. I think with the hormone balancing, they have at least decreased. But overall, I just have noticed an overall better feeling with my body. I just feel a lot better. I do periodically get headaches, and when I take the Vital, really I don't have any headaches like I used to. Other than the initial first week and a half of taking the products. But I think that was more attributed to my body getting adjusted and the toxins being released. But I've been sharing my health and how I've been feeling with a lot of my friends. So they're starting to really take notice, and I'm giving out samples, so hopefully I will get some more people, turned on to the product.
That's awesome. It's really nice when other people notice, because then you know it's really working. So
yeah,
that's fantastic. Well, I was introduced to Solle Naturals through Jennifer Pressimone, and I have to say that I was so grateful to her. I met Jennifer at a conference a couple years ago, and we've been involved in a few different things together. So I've learned about her. One of the things I learned quickly about her is that she was someone that I could trust, that she did her homework, and that she didn't mess around with products that were not good for you. I mean, like she really was looking for the best of the best. So when I started seeing her post stuff on her Facebook about this, I, of course, was immediately curious and am grateful that I was. Jennifer is a holistic aromatherapist, an international educator, and a teaching diplomat of spiritual phytoessencing. She owns her own custom aromatherapy business, and she's a regional director and the public relations coordinator for the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy. And I can't thank Jennifer enough for, mentoring me and all the learning I've done for her. But, she'll forever go down in history for me as introducing me to Solle. So I'm eternally grateful and would like to welcome Jennifer here tonight.
Thank you, Lynn. That's awesome. And likewise, I think we've just created this great partnership of learning stuff and sharing, I'm also a user of the Solle Natural products, and it was introduced to me 3 years ago by Greg Halliday and Lon Hudman, who both are the founders of Solle, and they had this great idea, this innovative idea, because they've been in natural health for, 25, 30 years, so they have seen the gamut over the years. But there is something that people talk a lot about, but it's actually missing in really connecting with natural health, and that's the true mind-body. We always talk about mind-body, but a lot of the products and all of the products that I've ever come across never directly link the two together, because I know, having irritable bowel and Crohn's and colitis, I quickly learned that if your gut is not healthy, your brain is not healthy, you can't think, you can't function, your body is just broken down, and, things start, taking a turn for the worse. And so their products are specifically formulated to really enhance that connection between our head and our gut, by way of the heart. And so I was really drawn to Solle, and they had asked me to formulate their essential oils based on this philosophy of truly connecting the gut and the mind. And so that's how I was introduced. And then I started learning about their different products, and I got to try their products, and wow, noticed a huge difference. The Solle Vital, I will say, probably because it's the foundational product with Solle, I think that's one of my favorite, next to the essential oils, of course. But I love the Solle Vital because it's so easy. You open up the packet, you put it in the water. I can go anywhere with it, but it's your minerals, it's your chlorophyll, and it's got adaptogens in there. So it really gives me some energy, some brain power. It can knock out a hormone headache or any type of headache, any muscle cramping, but also replenish electrolytes pretty quickly. So that's one of my favorite. And I too, Lynn, I love the Bear Designs, not only for digestion, but for skin and for acne as well. So tonight we are focusing on Solle Essentials for Pets. And not only just for pets, but for you too as the pet owner. So I just wanted to share, what I do in my life and what works for me and my husband and my 3 children here, as you can see, my cats and my 2 dogs, and my family, and, how our lives have been changed and, really enhanced over using the products. Just to give you a little bit more background about Solle, they really are particular about making sure that their products are really integrated for the mind and the body, but they also make sure that they have the highest quality products. So they do very strict testing on everything that they do, and they really have a solid commitment to bringing the top products, but also education. It's just not about using these products. This is one of the only companies I've ever been a part of that actually practices what they preach. They really are role models. And Greg and his wife, Donna, they run marathons, they ride their bike every day, they encourage us to, they have challenges. I know I personally don't really like to work out so much, but they gave us this challenge just to do a little bit every day. Doesn't mean you have to run the marathon, but just doing a little bit every day to change your life. And I did, and I felt better, and I was able to inspire others to do the same. So it was this domino effect. And they really do give us a lot of support. Their customer service is awesome. If I ever need anything, I just email or I give a phone call, and they're always quick to get right back to us. So jumping right into really the history of holistic health for our pets, they can get a lot of benefits from herbs and from aromatherapy. And it's really going to help them physically, mentally, and emotionally. So it's going to stimulate their body's own healing mechanism, just as it stimulates our own healing mechanism to give a quick therapeutic response. And so oftentimes, we have, our pets who are around us all the time when we're sad. They just want to be with us. But they take on our energy. So if we're sad, they take on that. If we're happy, they pick up on that. And so a lot of what I find just personally, in working with people every day is that pets take on the same energy and the same issues and health challenges that their owner does. And so that's why when you're working with pets with issues, you really want to look at yourself and work on yourself as well, because they have much more heightened senses and they respond a lot quicker than humans, because we put judgment on things. We have more of a discriminatory filter. Animals don't. They love you no matter what. And aromatherapy is really powerful here because it can give you some of those instant results for like the anxiety, separation anxiety, fear, whether it's fear of thunderstorms or fear of people or fear of fireworks. They get moody as well, and they go through some different types of pain. And so we're going to talk about like different things that you can do for different types of situations. So Solle is really committed to their quality, and so they make sure they utilize the best part of the plant, and that they use the proper part of the plant, and they're using it from a great supplier that does sustainable and environmentally friendly harvesting practices, which we have to really be mindful of these days. They use the best equipment, they do smaller batch sizes to make sure that we're getting the highest potency and the maximum freshness. A lot of companies are into quantity versus quality, and quality is the number one thing with Solle. Now, just some basic safety guidelines when you're using like herbal remedies and aromatherapy with pets and yourself. You want to consider the weight of the pet. If you're dealing with health challenges, if you're using it for yourself, what health challenges are you going through? If it's something significant or serious, heart issues, epilepsy, things of that nature, we want to use some caution. But different breeds of animals are going to need to be considered as well. And so what I normally do with the herbs, my animals, they'll just take the capsules right out of my hand. But for some animals that won't do that, then what you want to do is just open it up and mix it in some olive oil and then give it to them that way. Or molasses. Molasses is really high in minerals. And so I use that a lot with my pets. And when you're making up aromatherapy stuff, you're making up an aromatherapy spray to put on your dog to help with the pet dander or as a pet deodorizer, you want to do a 50% dilution ratio. And so what that means is in a 2 ounce of a pet spray, normally I only do 10 to 12 drops, total drops of an essential oil or essential oil blend inside of that bottle, and I'll fill the rest of the carrier. For a human, I will do sometimes up to 20 drops. So with animals, we want to be very particular. With cats, even more so. With cats, I usually only do 5 to 6 total drops in a 2 ounce blend for them. You always want to mix it in a carrier because their skin is very sensitive. There's receptor sites underneath. And the essential oils are fat soluble. They're not water soluble. So they need a fat to carry them in and drive them in deeper, like an olive oil or something like that. And minimizing the duration. So I would never diffuse like 50 drops of something in a room and lock a cat up in that room. You want to make sure that they have, open air to kind of, move about and just have, free to roam, and avoid their eyes and their ears and their nose. So the cool thing about Solle is they have 4 categories, and so they've really simplified how we look at things. And so does somebody need to be lifted? Do they need to be calmed? Does something need to be balanced? Or do we need really some clarity, some focus, concentration, and some clarity? These are the 4 categories that they have. And so the first one is the balance. And as you can see, there's 4 things in here. So you have the Solle Vital, which Lynn and I both love, and Michelle too. And we have the Adaptable, the Solle Flex, and the Balance Essential Oil. And there is another product that goes here, and that's a cream. It's called a Solle Flex Cream, and that was just introduced not that long ago. But you think of balance, the first word you should think of when you think balance is harmony. So does your animal, does your dog or your cat or your llama, your horse, do they need to be balanced? Do they need some harmony? We need some overall wellness. We need to bring in some longevity, some sustained energy, not this roller coaster for yourself, but also with pets. Sometimes they'll get a burst of energy or they just run around like crazy. They may have digestive issues or just have mood. But also you think of pets that are adapting to changes in environment. There's a change in the home. They're going to stay with somebody. There's a pet sitter. There's somebody new in the home. Dogs, they're a little bit leery of changes to their environment. So these products here are going to be the ones that you want to think about. So I make up my bottle of Solle Vital, and then I pour some of mine, because I do like mine strong. So I pour mine into my dog's water bowl and let them lick it up. And I'll put a few drops in my cat's water bowl as well, because you think about when animals, when they go out and, with dogs, when they go out and they try to eat the grass, that's where chlorophyll is. That's what makes the grass green, is the chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is really good as a blood purifier to really help with any skin issues, scratchy skin patches, the skin hot spots. But it also gives the body energy. And we also need good minerals. We need good minerals and we need good electrolytes. So there's alfalfa and dandelion in here. But the minerals are going to support urinary. So I know with my cat tends to run, and most cats tend to either have respiratory or urinary issues. So I add this in, like I said, I'll take my water bottle and I'll just put a little bit, like a teaspoon, into her little water bowl and let her drink it that way, because that really helps with the urinary system, but also structural, so skin, bones, hair. It's going to help with digestion and intestines, so how well they digest their food. You would know that, if you watch, whenever they go to the bathroom and you can see their poop. Do they have diarrhea? Is it too hard? Is there stuff in it? Does your animals tend to eat lots of stuff that could really irritate the digestive system? But also the lymphatic system. For dogs that don't get as much exercise and they really need to stimulate that lymphatic system and the cardio, this is going to be one of the things you want to think about. And it's also got some stuff in here to help with mood, which anytime mood is off, we want to think liver is off, the nervous system and the glandular system. Something is not in balance. And so we want to balance it. And then pH, any joint issues, joints with the dogs or with the owners, you want to think about pH balance here. Now, the Adaptable, this is in the Solle Vital minus one ingredient. So in the Solle Vital, it does not have do you guys hear that music? I think
yeah, I did.
Okay, that was kind of weird. Like the intermission at a movie. So with the adaptable, this is in the Soul Vital minus the St. John's wort. Now, I used to be really weary of St. John's wort because I had always associated just with depression. Like if you're depressed, you take St. John's wort. Until I really understood what St. John's wort is. And St. John's wort is really amazing for the nervous system. If there's ever any nerve spasms, like sciatica, but in some of animals, and there's a dog that I'm working with right now, they get the shakes really bad. There's tremors, so the nervous system, there's a spasm of the nerves or the muscles. St. John's wort is great for that. It's also really good for digestive issues like Crohn's, colitis, and irritable bowel. And I'm starting to see people with a lot more irritable bowel coming up with their dogs. So it's just something to think about. I have a German Shepherd, and she's a little high-strung sometimes. She's my dumb blonde, but I love her. She's so kind and loving, and her nervous system, tends to be rigged out a little bit, especially when there's change or if somebody comes over. So I have her doing the adaptable, and it really helps just to mellow her out a little bit, not too mellow to where she's lethargic, but just to where she doesn't stress and freak out over every little noise or, every little, change, or if I go out of town or if she sees me with my purse in my hand. It really just keeps her balanced. So I love it for that. You also look at animals with alopecia, their hair's falling out. It's coming out in clumps. Something's not right with their pH, and, something's not right with their detoxification system, so I certainly would look at adding in some Soul Vital, but also the adaptable here, because it can really help, especially if it's nervous related, because when we're nervous, it depletes our B vitamins. And one thing to help us with that are adaptogens. And so I like this for that reason. Also with severe anxiety, situational anxiety or severe anxiety, nervousness, fright, feeling overwhelmed, being too timid and shy, like an excess of something, where the nervous system is in excess, or extremely excess or extremely deficient. We just need to really, be balanced a little bit more. Then I love this formula. They have one called Soul Flex, which is wonderful for pain and inflammation. You have things in there like boswellia, which is frankincense, myrrh, curcumin, noni, the skullcap, and the magnolia bark is known kind of as like a natural tranquilizer. And so very good, not just kind of in a sedating way, but we think about when we have some severe pain and inflammation with the joints, the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, even on the skin, then we want to add something in that's kind of going to, combat that inflammation. So animals with respiratory inflammation, urinary issues, digestion, intestines, immune, the Soul Flex would be a great addition. My black lab is 9 years old, and so he's starting to have a little bit of hip issues. He loves to jump and catch the frisbee or play ball, and sometimes we can see he doesn't feel so well. And he does have some twitches in his leg or muscle spasms. So I do the Soul Flex and the adaptable with him to really help, and that helps to calm that down. Also, it's a powerful antioxidant, and it's going to be good for strength and flexibility. So my German Shepherd, she's 8, and I know German Shepherds have a tendency to have hip issues and joint issues. So I'm doing this with her as a preventative. So a lot of times when you're working on, hey, what can I do for my pets? What can I do for me? Think about what's going on in your life that's actually good, that you want to keep good. May you never know the disease you prevented. We shouldn't have to wait until something is going wrong with us before we'll take a look at it. You don't wait for your car to run out of gas before you put gas in it. You fill it up, along the way. And so we want to do that with the body. We want to make sure that you're giving it small repeated amounts of some good nutrients to, and some good things to feed your body so it continues to work for you. So SolleFlex I do as a preventative, but also as a reactive. And then we have the balanced essential oil blend that I formulated. And in here we have, it's a combination of lavender, which just is perfect harmony. It's the jack of all trades of all essential oils. You've got geranium and frankincense, which is great for inflammation, but also respiratory issues, for stress. Frankincense is my #1 oil that I do for allergies. So for people allergic to pets, or, we have a family member that comes over and they're, they don't do so well with, I have long-haired dogs. And so, they tend to sneeze and get the watery eyes and have a little bit of an allergy response. And so I make sure I always diffuse the frankincense, and I actually diffuse this blend, the balanced blend. That way when they come in, it kind of offsets that, and they do really well whenever they come over. And then you have Palmarosa, which is, it's a flower, so it's a little similar to geranium, but it's more of an earthier flower. And then Mei Chang, which is also known as Lycia cubeba. So all of these together, and you don't have to know what each individual one does, just know the combination of these 5 essential oils are going to bring balance and harmony on a physical, mental, and emotional situation. It's going to be anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and antiviral. It's going to support breathing and cough and drainage, especially with respiratory. So if, the dog's nose is running all the time, or they have a hacking cough, you think of kennel cough. But also going to be wonderful for stress, mood, sleep, energy, hormone balance, and make them a little bit more flexible to change. Now, my dogs go outside and sometimes they'll get hurt a little bit. So if they ever get a wound, they cut their foot or they're, brush up against something and have a skin irritation, then I will actually mix, this formula up here. And so I'll do 10 drops of the balance in about 2 ounces of either aloe or silver gel, and sometimes I'll mix the two. I'll do 1 ounce of aloe vera gel and 1 ounce of the Silver Shield gel, and I put 10 drops of balance. I mix that up, I label it so I know what it is, and that's what I'll just put some in my hand, and I'll apply that on topically. What I've really been loving lately is I'll take the SolleFlex cream, which is this one here, because it's arnica, calendula, aloe, you've got olive leaf, MSM in here drives things in deeper, but you have jojoba, argan, completely botanical. So now I take this, and this is what I mix my balance into, and I apply that topically. And if I'm in a hurry, then I'll just put the SolleFlex directly on. So if I know we're going for a walk or a run, or going to exercise the dogs to go play frisbee, or they have a wound, I'll just take this right out of the bottle and just massage it right onto the area. And, they get results very quickly. For me personally, we went ziplining the other day. I had never done that before. It was so much fun. But, you have this obstacle course to get to get to the ziplining areas. And so, boy, I found muscles I didn't know I had in my arms and my elbows, just, from strength. And I was really sore. And so I took the SolleFlex and I just applied topically, to those areas, and within 5 minutes, I was like, wow, it's like the pain wasn't as severe. I won't say it completely went away, but it took it down. It went from a 10 to maybe a 4. It was significant that way. But I also use it for skin. So for acne and blemishes on the skin, discolorations on the skin, wrinkles, you can do it kind of as an eye. If you get puffy eyes, you never want to put it above that eye bone, so you can put it right on the eye bone. This would be for humans. But also for digestive upset for humans and for pets. So you can rub it right on their belly, topically, for you or for your pet. So those are the things that make up the balance category, and those are some different things that you can use it for. Now, the calm category is blue because we always think of calm waters, and so when I formulated the essential oil blend, I wanted to make sure there was a blue oil in there. And so this actually has blue chamomile. So when you open up the bottle, it's going to be blue. And blue chamomile is actually in the tansy family, and that tansy is very particularly known to be an insect repellent, but a nourisher to the body. So I use a lot of blue chamomile for adrenal exhaustion, thyroid issues. I usually see a lot of llamas and cats with thyroid issues. I see dogs with more digestive and immune issues. But you've got your blue chamomile mixed with some other things in here that we'll talk about. That's going to help calm anxiety and fear and fright. But we also have the severe designs. And so this was the testimony that Lynn gave, about really helping her husband sleep at nighttime. So I have the testimonies I've heard is it helps my husband or me not snore anymore. I just get a great night's sleep. I feel more rested. I have an easier time falling asleep and staying asleep all night long. But also not waking up feeling a little weird or off, or the blood sugar is off. Because the enzymes, there's some stuff in the enzymes, not just a full spectrum of enzymes, but you have protease in there, but you also have digestive supporting things such as passion flower, peppermint, marshmallow, and wood betony with a little bit of the fiber. And so this is my absolutely hands down favorite enzyme I've ever seen in the marketplace, because you get not only enzymes, but it's also going to help the integrity of the lining of the intestines to hold on to food so we can absorb the food better, we can utilize it, take what we need, and get rid of the rest without it irritating our digestive and intestinal system. And it's one of my favorite with pets. So I use it a lot with dogs and with horses and with llamas. But it's going to be really good just to calm gas, bloating, but bowel issues. If there's diarrhea or constipation, like an extreme, you see in their bowels that they're not digesting their food so much, or their stomach just makes a lot of noise. They'll eat and it makes noise. Before they go to bed, it makes noise. If your stomach is always rumbling, or your animal's stomach is always rumbling, then you want to think about the Bear design. And in our digestive system, that's where we hold the emotion of worry. So what are we worried about? What are our animals worried about? I find that my dog, my black lab especially, if he sees my suitcase when I'm about to go out of town, I know that I'm doubling up on the enzymes for him. So with the calm, like I said, there's blue chamomile in here, but there's petitgreen, which comes from the leaves of the bitter orange tree. You've got patchouli and oak moss. And I was a little nervous about adding patchouli in here because I know it's a love it or hate it essential oil. But every single person who's ever told me that they don't like patchouli, they love this blend. And so it is beautifully blended together. It's very earthy with a hint of sweet. It's very grounding. So, it's going to be very calming, soothing, relaxing to both the mind and the body. So I'll diffuse that in the nighttime. My cat lately has been just, I don't know, she gets like her second and third wind at like 2 to 3 a.m. And so she'll run all over the place, and she just wants to get up and play, and she'll try to get the dogs to play, and they're just like, I just want to stay sleeping. So she'll get a little wild hair in her. So I diffuse this at nighttime just so she can get a good night's sleep and I can get a good night's sleep. It's wonderful to support adrenal and thyroid issues, whether it's, excess or deficient in the thyroid. Wonderful for anxiety and nervousness, panic, anger. You think of animals that are very territorial. They don't play well with others. Then you want to diffuse the calm blend. And you can even put one drop on like a bandana and wrap it around the dogs, around the neck, kind of as, like a collar. You could put one drop on the collar. You could do the same thing with llamas and horses. I would never put it that close to a cat, but I would have it in the vicinity if the cat, I know when I have some of my clients are introducing a new cat in their home with their other cat, the cat that's been there for a while is like, hey, this is my territory. So I'll just have them diffuse calm into the room just so they both stay calm, and then they can work out their differences and get to know each other that way. This is a very anti-spasmodic blend. So if you ever get muscle cramps or spasms, if the dog starts limping, then you can mix them up with either some olive oil or the SolleScents and apply that topically to that area. And so I like to do it in a spray. So I'll mix 10 drops with some enzymes, some liquid enzymes, or I'll do aloe vera gel or aloe vera juice if I want to do a spray. If I want a cream, I'm using the SolleScents now. But then you just mix that up and you can use it topically. And you'll use it, I put 3 times a week here just kind of as a generality, but you use it when you need it. There is the lift category, and you have a few different things in the lift category. And so the main goal in the lift category is that you want to stimulate energy, also productivity, but really balance blood sugar. And so I know, we, with animals, sometimes they have some blood sugar issues. And so the lift blend has cinnamon, grapefruit, lime, it's got some fruits, it's got raven flower. All of those are great to help balance blood sugar, just diffusing it and having them smell it. But it also provokes a feeling of safety and comfort and security. So I like to diffuse this, if we rescue an animal, or I'm working with people that do animal rescue or that are foster parents, I have them diffuse that because it really promotes, especially for animals that have been abused, that safety and comfort. It's like giving yourself a big hug. It's like giving them a big hug. Now, in this category, you have the cinnamate, and cinnamate has yerba mate in it, which is going to give caffeine-like effects. So I'm always careful about not giving that to the animals. But for the human, it's wonderful. And I love to do this one hot. So I'll open it up. Instead of doing a second cup of coffee in the afternoon, I'll open up a packet of cinnamate, put it in some warm water, and drink it that way. You can even add some almond milk to it if you want. So that's a nice little drink just to help with digestive energy when your digestive system feels a little bit off and you think you're hungry. It's great as an appetite suppressant or to help curb some appetite cravings. And then they also have 2 really good protein shakes with, a couple different formulas in there. There's a rejuvenating blend that's in there and a clarifying blend of herbs that are going to help give you some. It's really, again, connecting the head and the heart and the gut. So you've got stuff in there to support the brain, stuff to support the gut. And the way that works is you have neurotransmitters. You have nerves that connect the 2. And then they transport information during a day on, via the neurotransmitters. And so we want to make sure that connection is always open, that the roads are never blocked. And so I use the protein shake sometimes as a meal replacement, other times just to give me a little protein boost. Now with the blend, like I said, it promotes that feeling of safety and security, but it's also antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal. So if you have any of those issues, you can mix up some lift. Cinnamon is a little bit more irritating to the skin, so always make sure that that isn't a carrier. Down at the Lift Me Up room spray, if you just wanted a general room spray or a deodorizer spray, like you have where your cat litter box is, or your dogs just came in from where it was wet and you just need to liven up the house a little bit, then this is a wonderful blend. And you can put it in water just because we're going to use it as a carrier to get it up and out in the room. But it's a nice combination of cinnamon with blood orange, pink grapefruit, lime, and raven flower. And the last category is the clarifying category. And I've got a couple of my favorite products in here as well. Having digestive issues, for, many, many years now, probiotics will always be something that I do. And so this particular probiotic has Bacopa in it. And Bacopa, you'll see a lot of research in the medical journals on Bacopa about its effect on the brain. And we're seeing now that Alzheimer's and dementia is being labeled as type 3 diabetes. And we see some animals now getting the diagnosis of dementia. They run into things, they're confused, they're lost. So there's usually a blood sugar connection there. So I look at the lift category, but then I always add in these 2 staples from the clarifying category. I'll add in the ProBio IQ, because it's a great probiotic. It also has a little bit of fiber in there. The Solmegas, it's just my favorite in the marketplace. I've never found another enzyme or an omega the way that these are formulated. And there was one ingredient that I helped get added to this formula, particularly, I mean, of course, I had an ulterior motive for me, but also for other people. And so I'll share that with you. And they do have an XL product, and the XL has 3 kinds of maca. It's a tri-maca blend. And maca is high in arginine, so it's going to be great for cardiovascular, but also hormone balance. You've got the kupuwasu fruit, and, you know, we've all been learning about the XL because it's kind of new. You know, but the cool thing about this is there's nothing in here that's going to be harmful for the dogs. I know when we were talking before, we kind of weren't sure, so we've done a lot more investigations on this. And so I like to make up my juice in the daytime, so I'll take a big pitcher and I'll mix 1 packet of Soul Vital with 1 packet of the Cinnamate and 1 packet of the XL, and I mix all that up. And I will put a little bit of that into my dog's bowl. I always make sure that they're having what I'm having, you know, and that way we're getting balanced together. Now, the Soul Megas I was telling you about, the reason I love it so much is because you get your 3, 6, 7, and 9 and a fat emulsifier. The problem with a lot of fats is that some people can't break them down. And so for people and for pets that have irritable bowels, digestive issues, they can't absorb all their nutrients, or they have gallbladder issues or no gallbladder, they're not going to do well with high amounts of fat. And so I like this one because we've added not only all of the omegas from the flax and the chia, the black currant, and the sea buckthorn, but there's lecithin in here from sunflower. It's not soy, it's from sunflower. That's going to help emulsify that, which means it's going to break it down so we can absorb it better and we can get more benefit out of it. And omegas are great for the skin, making skin really good. So I use it a lot. My German Shepherd, it's really hot here in Florida, and so she is shedding so bad, and her skin is getting a little dry because her coat just keeps, she's very, very thick coated. I think she's got like 10 coats under the coat she has now. And so it's an irritation to the skin. But also with it being so hot outside as well, my black lab is having a little bit of skin issues. So I've increased the omegas that they get. And I just give it to them and I let them eat it. But it comes in a soft gel, so sometimes I'll just bite a little hole in it, like at the bottom, and I'll squirt it into their food bowl. And that's how I give it to them that way. And if there's something extra, I'll rub it on my hands, just the top of my skin, because it's wonderful for the skin. So if you wanted to do like a really good omega mask, you can open up one of these and put them on your face to help with, you know, wrinkles and discolorations and blemishes and things like that. But I wouldn't wash it off. I would just let it soak in. You know, it's going to be good for scalp issues, you know, just to massage and, you know, doing spot treatments for people with eczema, psoriasis. But animals with hot spots, you know, patchy skin, dry areas, you know, their hair is falling out maybe in one particular part, then I would look at increasing the omegas that they're getting, because it's great for circulation, but also that skin. But we also need omegas to coat our nerves so they become slip and slide. So now our brain and our gut can be happy together. Because if the gut's not happy, that serotonin can't make its way to the brain, and so then we have depression and anxiety, sadness. We have that in pets as well as with humans. And then it also helps with weight management, you know, digestion and absorption of food. The probiotic here has 5 strains that's specific for the gut and the brain, so both of them, the mind and the body, to help with stress, mood. It's thermo-resistant, which means you can leave it on your shelf or you can put it in the fridge. But probiotics are just very important and very essential. Anything to do with skin, intestine, bowels, digestion, and the urinary system. And again, we hold the emotion of worry in our gut. So we want to make sure our gut is healthy, but also our mind. You know, we want better mental focus. How many people would love to have a better memory? You know, would love to focus and concentrate more, especially when we're training an animal. You know, we need them to focus and be on task and remember, you know, and do this routine. And so probiotics are going to be one of the staples that you want to add into that particular program. And then the Clarify essential oil is probably one of the funnest ones that I formulated. It's got a nice blend of some mints and some camphor. You've got lemongrass, spearmint, rosemary, black pepper in here. And there's also fennel and basil. Fennel being very particular for the gut. So we want gut clarity because we want all of the messages. Your gut, they used to say, was your second brain, and now they're saying, no, it's your second first brain. You know, your brain has to, you know, everything you endure, like your sense of smell, when you smell something, your nose is a protrusion of your brain. So when you smell that, it goes right to the brain and it tells your body how to respond to a situation. But then it has to be metabolized and then go to your gut so that it can send out the signals to tell your body how to respond. And so this is why aromatherapy is so important with any program that you do. So you do your herbs and you do your aromatherapy. You want to do them together. But this blend is also particular for nerve pain, neuropathy. So if there's any nerve issues going on with the animals or with you, it's going to help with focus and concentration and alertness and memory, as well as circulation, respiratory. I have a pay attention because this could be for animals or for humans. So we want to add 10 drops into water and make a spray or put it into some aloe vera gel. This can be your hand sanitizer too. You know, with this spray, I'll usually spray the bandana, like if we're taking, you know, the dogs out and we're doing some training. And, you know, we want them to be on task. And I have another dog trainer. This is what she diffuses around the areas in the room when she brings all of the people together for the dog training sessions. You know, and some of them she'll put it on the bandana, and for others she'll just have it diffused in the room. So, and this smells so good. It's just so fun. So just to give you my personal integrative program that I do with my pets and with myself is I do probiotics, I do enzymes, I do essential fatty acids. Those are my staples. And then when they need some stress relief, I add in the adaptables. When they need some inflammation support, then I'll bring in the Soul Flex. I do my Soul Vital. I have to say, we do the Soul Vital every day because that's our vitamins and our minerals. When I want some, you know, hormone balance or some extra energy or some cardiovascular support, I'll add in the XL. I'll add in the Soul Flex cream, you know, as needed. You know, you guys know whatever you need, creams and ointments. You know, but then you're going to get the energy, and the aromatherapy is going to give that emotional support in addition to the physical and the mental. So this is kind of my overall program that I do for me and my family. And so just to give you kind of to sum things up and to give you some particulars here, and I can send you out this PowerPoint presentation too. I can get it to Lynn. That way you guys don't have to copy everything down. But I do probiotics, enzymes, essential fatty acids, the Soul Flex, and the Soul Vital with the Calm. This would be a complete program. And to some of you, you may go, oh my gosh, it's so much. For me, this is my health care. You know, so for me, this is just things I do every day, you know, because this is how I feel my best. But maybe you just have one of them. If you just did one thing, if you just did the probiotics, at least something is better than nothing. So start with one thing. Don't feel overwhelmed. Start with what you're comfortable with. For digestion, I do the probiotics, the enzymes, the essential fatty acids, and then I'll add in some Soul Flex to that with the Calm as well. So see, you can accomplish skin issues and digestive issues with the same program. And with the joint and muscle health, then I'll do the Soul Flex because it's an anti-inflammatory. I'll do the enzymes and the essential fatty acids, and then the Soul Vital for the minerals and the pH balance. And then I mix all 4 of the essential oil blends in equal parts in a carrier. So I really have this spray made up, and I use it for so many things. So I make up a 2-ounce spray bottle, and I'll put 5 drops Calm, 5 drops of Balance, 5 drops of Clarify, and 5 drops of Lift. And then I'll fill the rest with my enzymes. I just like that as my spray. And I just keep that bottle all around the house. I use it for so many things. It's antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, anti-infectious, anti-inflammatory. So anything I need, that's kind of like my go-to bottle. And then for your core health, probiotics, enzymes, essential fatty acids, minerals. And then again, that blend, you can just kind of have it as your everything blend. So we went over a lot of information. Hopefully you were able to pick out a couple tidbits that pertain to you and pertain to your pet. Hopefully there were some things going on that maybe you're like, oh, okay, I didn't know these things were connected. Now I kind of have a solution. I know what to do with it. Solle does offer a discount, and they've actually made changes, and I just realized I didn't get the slide changed in time. So you don't have to purchase anything to have a free membership with Solle. You could go sign up right now with Lynn, and you can have a free membership, and that's going to allow you to buy any of their products at wholesale. You don't even have to buy $50 worth. And so they wanted to make sure that they were reaching out to people, because it does get confusing, and so many people are like, I just want one thing. I just want to start, and I just want to try one thing. I don't know that I'm going to spend $50. We don't want to hold anybody to that, because we just want people to get what they need and don't feel overwhelmed. And so they've waived that. So now you can become a member just by signing up, and then anytime you want to order, you can go and order, and you'll get the wholesale prices. If you decide, hey, I'm going to be doing a little bit of this every month. For me, I get my enzymes, my probiotics, my essential fatty acids. So I have myself set up on a monthly auto ship, because then I get some points back. It's like when you use your Capital One card, you get points back, you earn points. Same thing with Solle. They've made it really fun. So you actually are going to get cash back, that you're able to use for, other products and different things that you need. So they do a lot of educational webinars. They do 2 a month, and they have some that we've saved over the years too, for a lot of different topics. Like Allison Caldwell, she is our mental health counselor, that's on the advisory board that really understands the mind-body connection. And so she did one on addiction. Very knowledgeable lady. She's so cool, so smart, but so fun. So you have things at your fingertips. Anything that you need, you just let us know. That the Solle Rewards is what it's called if you do set up on a monthly auto ship. And just to give you an example, if you buy $150, you're going to get $15 in a product credit. So you'll have $22.50 to use whenever you reorder. So it's just kind of, it's a rewards program. It's really cool. And then if you set up that's if you place a regular order. But if you order the monthly auto ship, you're going to get an additional 5%. So instead of getting 15%, you're going to get 20% back off that $150. So, it's just ways. For me, I'm always looking of, clipping coupons and how can I save more money, and how can, I get the top quality products, but for the best price, so I can stay on budget, because I do feed, my family, with my animals and with me and my husband. One thing I do want to leave you with Solle, it's not just a reputable company or a credible company. They really do give back. And so they've started the Heart and Soul Charitable Foundation. And, they focus on women and children's physical and emotional needs. And their bigger vision is one day they're going to open up the Soul Center. And this is where we're going to conduct research for true mind-body research. But it's a place people can go to get well. And so I just love that about them, that they're not only about offering these great solutions, but also teaching people how to help themselves and sending them to a place that they can get the nurturing that they need to get better. And every portion, a portion of every product that's sold goes to this foundation. And every year we kind of, they show us where the money goes and, who this is. And sometimes we get to meet the people that we were able to help, and it's just a beautiful thing. So if you want to sign up for your free membership with Solle, all you need to do is go to SolleHealth.com. If you want to order, when you go there, you'll just order your products. You want to get with Lynn and Michelle first, and they can help you walk through that process if you need. If you are ordering more than $75, get with them, because they have a $25 gift card. So if you bought $75 worth of stuff, it's only going to cost you $50. So, and that's off your first order. So make sure you take advantage of that. And I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to really just learn a little bit about how you can help yourself and your pet from a holistic perspective. So thank you so much, and then I'll answer some questions. And Lynn, I'll turn it over to you right now.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. I put myself on mute because I talk to myself constantly. While you're talking, I'm like, oh yeah, that soul cream. I could give a testimonial about all of this stuff. The Soul Flex cream with the Calm. Oh my gosh, that stuff is the bomb. I can't wait. I'm hoping that they eventually put it together because I'm constantly putting it together myself. It's just amazing. So, and I will say I'm loyal to another type of cream that I adore, and I didn't give the Soul Flex a fair shake until I really started using it, and it took away a bruise instantly, and it was a bone bruise, and I was just amazed at how quickly it healed that with the Calm in it. It was just I was just delighted because it was really painful once it came up. So.
And that was one of my first introductions with the Soul Flex too. My mom has really thin skin, and with elderly, you see them with bruises all over their skin. If they bump themselves, they bruise easy, and it really hurts. And I did the same thing. I mixed the Calm. Well, I did the Calm and the Balance with the Soul Flex. It's amazing for that. It works so well.
Yeah, it really does. So I do want to see if anybody else has any questions because I do have a few. So if you can't, if you're trying to talk and we're not hearing you, if you want to type in, that's okay too.
And I'll come up and I'll look in here.
Okay.
See if there's any questions on our panel here.
Yeah, Michelle and I were talking back and forth. While we're waiting for something, and if you're coming in via phone, just talk over me. If you have a question. So I did want to ask a couple things. You did say what to blend these oils with, but is there a best carrier, just in general, if we're kind of mixing up our own? Is there one that you recommend more than another for the animals to use with the animals and the essential oils?
I mean, I can usually say olive oil because I always have olive oil in the kitchen. And everybody else does, so it's kind of easy that way. I personally if I'm doing the cream, for pain, the Soul Flex is my favorite, hands down. If I'm picking an oil, you could do olive oil or sunflower oil, almond oil, hemp oil. Any of those are great. But I do like the enzymes, the Nature's Fresh enzyme spray the best because your pet dander, pet dander on the skin, irritations, allergens, stains are made of a protein structure, and enzymes break down that protein structure. So in all of my pet sprays, I always use the enzyme spray as my base, and then I add these blends into it. I had my cousin was telling me the other day, they went out on a camping trip, and I had made her up a Balance blend for her, and that's what they ended up using as their mosquito repellent. She's like, I couldn't believe it worked for that. She goes, I used it not thinking it would work, but thinking maybe if I smelled they would go away. And she said it worked. I didn't get bit up because she would normally get bit up a lot. And so I always do the enzymes as my base for animals, but even in a fly spray for horses too. So those are kind of, if you're doing a liquid enzymes, if you're doing an oil, whatever you have, and then if you're doing a cream, this will flex.
Great. So I just switched my dogs about 4 or 5 months ago over to gluten-free food. I was feeding them what I thought was gluten-free food, and it wasn't. And so we actually got them gluten-free. And I just wanted to check and see are any of these do any of these products have gluten in them? Where do they fall in that typical allergen perspective?
They actually are awesome. They are gluten-free. They're lactose-free. They are going to be vegetarian. The majority of them are going to be vegan, not all of them, because in the powders, they'll do a honey powder. And I know some people don't do the honey. But they are very clean, and they are all plant-based, all vegetable-based.
Great, thanks. And then I just really have one other one. With therapy dogs, would you mix the Clarify and the Calm together to kind of help them focus and continue to stay relaxed?
You could. Because that would ultimately balance them too. With therapy dogs, I like to do the balance because it brings harmony, but I bring in the calm because it's nurturing. And then, but I also like to clarify because, yeah, they've got to stay focused and on task. So I actually like those three together. And you really could add in the list if you wanted to just do your 4 blends of everything. But I like the calm and the balance with the clarify. And you could do them in equal parts.
Okay, great. And then in the calm, there's no lavender in the calm?
No, it's blue chamomile, patchouli, petitgreen, and oak moss. Oak moss and patchouli are going to be your base notes, so they're very grounding. And then you have the blue chamomile and the petitgreen, which are going to be your middle notes. So there's not any top notes in there. So you just want to think of like a plant. You know, you have your fruits and your flowers at the very top, and you have your leaves in the middle, and then your roots. This one's going to be very grounding. It's not going to be very airy. So if somebody's very scattered and very airy, you know, and you just need to put your feet on the ground, you feel too overwhelmed, that's where the balance is going to be particularly beneficial.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
All right. Michelle here. I do have a question.
Okay.
Jennifer, what would you recommend to when I try to introduce the product to my pet people, all my friends that have pets and they're so passionate about their pets? What would you recommend as a product for me to maybe recommend to them to get started that they could use all the time for their pets?
You know, my staples are going to be, you know, the probiotics, the enzymes, and the essential fatty acids. Those are my 3 go-to. And those are 3. So if 3 are overwhelming for somebody, then I would explain to them probiotics are going to nourish the gut. The immune system is in the gut. So do you need gut and immune support? The essential fatty acids are going to be for, like, you think of skin and nerve support. So, you know, so I always investigate and I ask them questions. If they could only have, you know, 1 product, what would you want that 1 product to do? If you could have 2 products, what would you want those 2 products? And then if there was a 3rd thing, what would be the 3rd thing? And that's kind of how I let them, because I never want to put somebody on a program. I want somebody to choose what's right for them. You know, I don't want somebody to tell me, hey, go do this. Well, how do you know that's what I need? You know, so I always try to engage. You know, I know what my pets need, and I know for my pets they need something for their skin, so I'm doing the Solmegas. I know they have digestive issues, and so I do the enzymes, you know, and I know that they need to have their immune system supported, so I do the probiotics, you know, and then, you know, they get what I'm drinking when I drink my Solvital. I just share it. I don't pour a whole packet into the water, but I share what I'm drinking for them. And so that's usually where I go. And then if you had to pick an oil, I would, you know, if you were able to let them smell it, I would let them smell it and see what they liked. If not, then they can read about it and they can kind of choose, hey, I like spicy fruits, then you know Lit is going to be right. If they need something calming and relaxing and grounding, then you'll do calm.
Okay. Awesome.
Does that help?
Yes, that does help. Thank you.
Okay, so does anybody else have any other questions? Okay.
And Michelle, I loved your testimony on the Solmegas. You're right. I mean, when I bite into it, it doesn't taste bad at all. Like, I could totally open it up. And for people that have a hard time digesting, even kids, I have a friend who has a 4-year-old. She just likes to bite into it because she likes it to squish in her mouth, and she loves it. And so that's the omega that she's doing.
I was really surprised because I don't know what I did. When I was taking, I put it in my mouth and I bit down and it just popped. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be horrible. But it wasn't, because, you know, the over-the-counter stuff I've had before in the past, I mean, just the smell of it or the taste, and then you burp it, and this stuff, no, not at all.
But that's the lecithin that's in there that's helping to emulsify that. And I actually like that almost better than I like olive oil. I mean, it's just got it's just not bad.
No, I was surprised.
I'm going to have to go eat one now just to see.
You know what? You'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yes, you will be. Well, thank you.
So I just wanted to remind anybody that's listening now or that will listen in the future, we do have the $25 off cards if you want to get back with us. I know that Carol may also be sending this out. I'm not sure what happened to her. I know that she and I were talking earlier, and she had wanted to get here because, she is so involved with the animal world. So, please get back with me or Michelle or Carol, whoever sent you to this, or if someone else is using this, if another distributor is using this, please get back with them so that they can help you do that. And we'll keep you posted on when the next webinar is. And if you're on Facebook, please do go to the Soul Health page and like it and participate in it, because I do monthly giveaways. I didn't do one last month. Sorry, I was kind of asleep at the wheel, and I haven't put one up yet this month, but I will, because I like those. I like giveaways. I like when I get free stuff, and I like to give away stuff. So I like to do those type of stuff. So I hope you'll join us there. And Jennifer, thank you so much. I love the way that you laid this out. I think it was great. It was easy to learn, and I just appreciate you breaking it down so that we could see, like, oh, this is gut health, this is that, this is that. So thanks again. I really do appreciate all that you do for us.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. This is Michelle, and thank you, Lynn.